A lot of people have side hustles, and eventually, I suppose this was bound to happen. One of the most popular side hustles today is something called OnlyFans. It's an industry where people pay a monthly subscription fee, and it varies to people who are either very famous or not famous at all for adult content. It is up to the creator to decide how much or how little to put on display. Sometimes you will see risque photos, lingerie photos. Sometimes you will see traditional naked, nude photos. Sometimes you will see videos. Sometimes you will see couples having relations.
Right.
One of the people in this story, this next story, has a side hustle, and she is an OnlyFans model. She is also a police officer in Minneapolis. Last week, she pulled over a driver to give him a speeding ticket or some kind of ticket. After 10 minutes talking with the officer, the guy in the car said, I know you.
I know who you are. I've seen you.
I'm one of your fans.
Do you think if he said to her, where do I know you from? She was going, I don't know.
Red flag, red
yeah,
flag.
I don't know. She's probably like, I don't know where you know me from.
I've lived here for a while.
I'd have hit the, okay, you be safe, and moved on.
And go, give you a warning.
But how many people are on that platform, though? And the odds of that happening
But don't you like
in
your
one town?
Well, you like your hometown girl.
Yeah, but how can you do that?
Yeah.
Do what?
Yeah.
Search
You could
by
go on to
city?
OnlyFans and type in the city, and it brings up all the.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
have
Really?
no idea.
I do believe you can do that.
No.
You don't think it's just random? He just found a hot blonde or whatever?
No, I think you can go on and say, I want somebody local.
That's creepy. I
I
would
don't
think
think
that,
you can demand by city.
I think you can do that. I don't know it.
No, I would think that's too
don't know.
risky for the performer.
In fact,
know where
I
you
would
are.
think they would want to hide their location.
Well, whatever the case, he was in Minnesota and had looked at her on OnlyFans. And she had sex with her husband on OnlyFans.
Yep.
And then...
That's not illegal.
No, I guess not, no. He and his brother did a little research on it.
We was doing a little talking and checking, you know, as brothers, we was like, man, she got her OnlyFans page. I'm on her OnlyFans page.
I know her.
We've disguised his voice.
Yeah, we had to.
I hope so.
No identity.
We don't know her identity
Was it-
or his.
No.
But the driver said, yeah, I've seen explicit photos.
I've seen her on OnlyFans.
I've seen.
I know.
No ticket for you.
Apparently, he's not only a member, he's a VIP.
You gotta go to the VIP and you get to see the videos of her and her or I guess husband or whoever that is. They do full sex video.
He said they do full sex.
And they do. That's right. That's a quote. They do full sex.
Jeez. This whole thing's weird.
Well, his final comment is the one that's getting everybody. He says, now, wait a minute. You can't give me a ticket now.
Because you can't arrest me no more. I've seen your private parts.
I seen your private part. How you going to arrest me?
I don't think that's germane.
Okay. Well,
Law's a law.
How could you arrest
He
me?
said-
I got no private part.
Mystery voice man said, I can't respect you or the precinct. The precinct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Fox 9, that's where we got the audio of the mystery man here. Fox 9 reached out to the mayor of Minneapolis, and he released a statement that says simply, if we're talking about naked pictures behind a paywall, I have no issue with what the officer is doing. There is an investigation at the police department that is still ongoing.
Yeah, but I think he made a point to say if it's naked pictures behind a paywall, but it's not. It's full-on sex, and I think he does have a problem. That's why they're investigating.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. And she's actually having sex on camera on OnlyFans with her husband, and he says anything beyond still pictures he does have a problem with.
Yeah. How do you feel about that for your company?
Well, this is a police officer, too. It's not just
Well, I mean, but even a company that you know somebody's doing it and you're paying their salary.
Yeah.
Would you?
I'm
and,
torn
and they're
on
Yeah.
they're right in front. You know, when people walk in a door somewhere.
I think it
It's
depends on
military, police, and teachers. They're the ones who always get, they lose their jobs.
You think this woman will lose her job over it?
It wouldn't shock me.
But it is a legal thing. It's not like
Correct.
she's a prostitute, for instance. You know?
Yeah, but
It's
there's
legal.
there's some decorum out there that's supposed to be
Yeah.
exhibited, and I don't know if it crosses that line.
Well,
When you're wearing a badge.
I mean, children are supposed to go up and be safe with the police officer, and does it lose that?
Perhaps. Same with teacher.
Teacher too, so even more so,
With teacher, see, with this
and preachers.
with this right here, she interacts with so many different people. I think it's going to be really few and far between that'll say, "Oh, I've seen you on OnlyFans." It's just
I've seen your privates.
I've seen you private. So I think if I were the police chief or the mayor, I would go to her and say, "You need to stop this, and you can keep your job." With a teacher,
Either or.
Yeah, I think it needs to be. You have to choose OnlyFans or this job as a police officer. You can't work for the police and be on OnlyFans. But I'm not firing you. Here you can end it now. And you can stay with your job. You choose. With a teacher, it's already out there. The students have already seen it, so they'll be talking about, "Oh, she was on OnlyFans." That's when it always creates that disturbance.
Right.
Yep.
That's
and then you've lost control.
Yeah. And then it's like the whole student body is talking about it. Once
all the dads show up on parent-teacher conference night.
Exactly. They join the PTA.
But can you do that in people's free time and tell them not to do something?
I think you can.
Really?
I do, because for instance, if I'm out or you're out making a spectacle of yourself all the time, drunk and shirtless and online, I think they can say you can't work here anymore. It's not like you're being arrested. It's saying our standards at this job are higher than others.
What if she's I'm
not talking about here, but anyway.
I wonder how much money she makes on that. If she could sit there and say, "Well, I'm making more money over here than I am here,"
then fine. Then choose it.
Then that's what you do.
That's what I would say. Then make that choice. Then.
But because she can't offer that as a counter argument and say, "Well, then pay me more money." I'm a police officer putting my life on the line every day, and I'm making.
Well,
then leave.
Another thing about this,
they need cops.
Another thing about specifically is it's hard to get cops right now. There are fewer than we need. Polygirl Cassie, you wanted to comment on this police officer who's in OnlyFans. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the only people who have issues with OnlyFans are just old men. Like everybody.
Dave and I have issues.
Dave and I have
issues with this.
Everybody has sex. It's just it's an expected and a well-known thing. The fact that
but if it's a middle school teacher and the entire student body, somebody sees it, so the entire student body knows it, then that's going to be a distraction at school.
Right. Well, then what you need to look at is why does this middle school student know about OnlyFans and know that this teacher has an OnlyFans account? So
But even when you do, that might be issue number one, but it's still the toothpaste is out of the tube.
Right. Well,
so you have I think a principal or a superintendent then could say there's too much of a distraction in your classroom.
Well, then sex needs to be starting to be addressed at an earlier age. We wait too late in life and say sex is bad. Sex is bad. Wait until you're married.
Well, I don't think we say sex is bad. We say sex is private.
Right. Well, okay, sex is private.
And you're putting it out there public.
And you know what else I think, and to not to interrupt, but I think what also may change the discussion, Polygirl Cassie, is the introduction of cash for.
That's another
nudity,
thing.
Cash for sex.
People are paying.
That it kind of changes the discussion. It's not Miss Johnson's having a baby. Teachers have babies all the time.
And you're absolutely allowed to do this. You can go on OnlyFans.
Sure.
It doesn't mean I want you working in my company. It's legal to drink too. It's legal to go get drunk. But if you do it all the time, I might say.
When you talk about teachers, you're introducing children, which is a whole nother spectrum.
I see what you're saying, Polygirl Cassie, but we're not that old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if a young teacher walks in, the students are going to Google.
Absolutely, it causes a distraction.
Somewhat attractive. They'll Google the teacher.
There's always a dirty kid out there, whatever age, a dirty little boy at 12 years old that went and looked at something and put it on their phone.
Yep.
And she's
all
right.
it takes.
Polygirl Cassie's right. It's like, what's he doing? It doesn't matter. That's an issue, but once it's out there, everybody sees it then. I think I would have to take steps to get rid of that teacher.
I think a teacher wouldn't want that, would they? They wouldn't want their 11-year-old boys and girls to know that they're out there naked. And
No,
of
course not. Of course not.
You lose respect.
Kathy, you're talking about OnlyFans. Go ahead.
So I don't think it's fair to penalize someone that is in the military or a teacher, a police officer. They don't make any money already, so they're doing a side hustle to continue to serve our community, but we're going to penalize them for it? I don't think that's fair.
Well, I do, because I do think it causes a distraction. Especially a teacher, a police officer, maybe not.
I don't think you're penalizing them. I think you've given them an option to say, look, you can go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You just
can't work here. It's a higher standard.
I just can't have you here.
We have a higher standard.
We can hire and fire who we
want. And we say, look, that's our rule.
It's unfortunate, but that's how it is sometimes.
All right. Thanks, Kathy.
And I think a lot of times you will see, maybe with the military and with police forces, you have to take some sort of morality
Yeah, there you are.
pledge, right? Aren't there some sort of
probably teacher?
There are certain standards you have to uphold.
Yes, that is all true. Patrick, you're talking about being on OnlyFans. This police officer has an OnlyFans account, and she pulled over a guy who said, "I know you from OnlyFans." Go ahead.
Hey, I don't see any problem with it because you're behind a paywall and an 18 plus agreement and a paywall. It's not out there in the ether to say, "Hey, come look at this." It is, you know what I'm saying? It's a private thing. It's a private transaction, and it's all illegal. It's not immoral. I mean, what is the issue? I mean,
no one's being arrested.
Well, it's not like a Playboy magazine. You're right. It's much harder to access than a Playboy, which you can get at a drugstore.
But certainly you could see a younger person. I mean, you had to be over 18 to buy a Playboy. We saw them at age 12. You know, you have to be over 18 to be on OnlyFans. But, of course, you know that 12-year-olds are probably seeing it. So if it's done with a teacher, I agree with you. There's nothing. It's fine if you want to do it.
Yeah, there's nothing with the legality of it.
But some jobs, as Chris Demm just said, holds you to a higher standard. The morals are there. So I do think that they can get rid of you if they want to, or give you a choice. So you can either do this or you can have your job.
Not stopping you from doing it.
Andy, you wanted to comment on OnlyFans. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually did my graduate thesis on a similar subject. Is social media speech and public employees, because the one thing that's kind of missing in this are these are public employees and there's a First Amendment issue. But the rule is it cannot disrupt the operation of the government agency.
Do you think this is a disruption now that this guy who was pulled over knew who she was?
I think it is. It's funny. The rule was created in a case with Harry Connick Jr.'s dad, who was the district attorney of the city of New Orleans. Okay. And that's the standard. Does it create a disruption? And this does. And there's tons of cases. If this cop ends up suing, the case precedents are there.
Okay.
Not to further muddy the waters, though, but disruption is such a vague term.
That's true.
You know, how do you define it?
Well, see,
it's good for the company, though, because then they can can take action at any level.
And they make it vague, I bet, on purpose.
Absolutely, they do.
And you know, people, it's not nudity, it's not sex, but people have been let go from their jobs because of their social media posts. You know, the caller brought up an interesting point.
Drinking on social media.
Or, comments that are racist or sexist or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Now, like you said, being drunk and acting crazy is not illegal.
But if it reflects poorly on the company, they can say, you're not for us.
It's not illegal to make a racist comment.
Do we know if this precinct knew that she was doing this?
I don't know the answer. My hunch is they did not.
I agree.
Well, that may
I would
change.
totally think they didn't know.
I bet they didn't either. Although the mayor has said, look, if it's just still pictured, but now she's having full-on relation, as you heard the gentleman say.
Absolutely. And it does make a difference when the public is paying
your salary. Cole, you wanted to comment. One more quick one on OnlyFans. This cop she's on OnlyFans and then pulled over somebody who recognized her. Go ahead.
Yeah, morning, guys. Big Q1. I was telling Biggie, these ladies that are calling here and disagreeing with y'all, if they had a 12-year-old, 13-year-old son and they found out that they were watching their teachers have sex on the internet, they would be irate.
I think
they might.
Some, yeah. You probably.
Polly Girl Cassie's pretty cool.
Yeah, she is. And what you said is right about what's causing a disturbance. But once the kids see it in school, I think it is a disturbance. Then every kid knows
it's over.
It's out there, and you can't get away from being the teacher who was on OnlyFans or in Playboy or whatever it might be. Thank you, Cole. Appreciate it. That's happened many times where some teacher was in a magazine or whatever, and then as soon as the kids know,
it's not just the kids; it's the coworkers, it's the other teachers,
all of it. Yeah, right.
And the parents.